Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello and happy holidays, Feliz Navidad, and whatever you celebrate. I hope you're doing it successfully without assaulting other people about their holidays.
And the Nimp.
I'm not gonna lie, Boston just did the countdown and I freaked out because I wasn't ready to hit record, even though we're already recording.
We've been recording for like 10 minutes. So if you want to get an idea of where we're at right now, there. So this is the second of our special episodes this year. Last week we brought the top 10. No spoilers, obviously. We're not gonna go listen to that one. I don't even know what our top one is. I'll pretend I don't even know. Who knows?
Yeah, you pretend you don't even know because we haven't actually recorded that one yet.
Oh no! Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
No.
Right.
Don't look behind the curtain. There's no one here.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about our 2020 is soon to be in the rearview mirror. So let's talk about 2021's predictions. Couple of short rules here at the beginning. Try and get through this as quickly as we can. We're going to start with the games we were looking forward to the most this time last year. We'll have a good laugh about stuff that was bad or didn't come out. In each of our different categories, we go Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, and the sort of general sort of other predictions, industry-wide or specific game ones. We will start by talking about our last year predictions, our hilariously wrong 2020 predictions, ours along with the communities, and then we'll talk about what we think is going to happen in 2021. We'll also crown a winner of Most Correctest of 2020. This is someone from the community, not us, that guessed.
If Hannah takes it again, I'm going to be really annoyed, by the way.
I have not tabulated it. Well, let's talk about our scoring system. The three of us sort of generally agree on half points or full points. We don't do anything beyond that. And then whoever gets the most correct votes, it will be our most correctest of 2020. Last year's was the Hannah, sort of reigning supreme. We'll see what happens
every year when he hasn't been a host. I'm pretty sure before he was a host, he got it right every year. Since he left being a host, I'm pretty sure he's been the most correctest at every year since.
I feel like I should have a spreadsheet about this, and I don't, and that's my failing. Then at the very end, we'll talk about what we're looking forward to in 2021's video game releases. Final note here, disclaimer, none of us have any prior knowledge of anything in the industry. These are all educated / hopefully funny guesses and nothing more. So please don't sue us and don't buy stock or anything if you like any of these ideas. We don't know. We're guessing for the laughs. Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about the games we're looking forward to in 2020. Let's start off with Moon. Looking forward to Doom Eternal, which actually did come out this year.
Yep, and it was good. It was really good. It was potentially great with some slight issues.
Cyberpunk 2077, which
still looking forward to it.
Still allegedly coming out here this year, a couple of days after we're recording this, probably.
Mm-hmm. We'll see.
Dying Light 2, which I thought was going to come out this year, man.
Yep. Got pushed, I believe, thanks to the circumstances of 2020, which we will refer as that from now on.
Right. Halo Infinite, which also slipped. Yeah. The System Shock remake, which
I'm pretty sure that thing got pushed.
Yeah. Yakuza 7.
I have it installed, I just haven't started it yet.
There you go. That's another one of those big games. It
came out like 2 weeks ago, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I'd love to play that, but, you know. Watch Dogs Legion, very much the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Oddworld Soulstorm.
Which I don't think it's out yet, is it?
No, I think that comes out early in 2021.
Yeah.
Right.
Nimp, you were looking forward to Halo Infinite, Cyberpunk, Yakuza 7, and the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, good list of games there. I was looking forward to Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which did come out this year, and I have had no time to play. Yeah. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Doom Eternal, Darksiders Genesis, LOL, Guilty Gear Strive, whoops. That's happening for a little bit. Psychonauts 2, which I still don't think has a release date yet, which is sort of frustrating. Robotics Notes Elite, which I have purchased. It is in my house. I just need to find the time to play a visual novel at some point. Rune Factory 5, which
is out next year.
Yeah, which is out next year. Streets of Rage 4, which is a great game that came out this year. Cough, cough. Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Quarantine. Cough, cough, cough.
Thank you, the circumstances of 2020.
Yeah, recently got delayed and will hopefully have a name change.
They still haven't name change flat, and that's scary for me.
Yeah, that's really worrying. Twin Mirror, which actually just came out like a week ago. Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion, which I was hoping to have finished by this point, but it does not work. Yakuza 7 Tunic, which I was hoping was coming out this year, but we still don't have a release date for. And at the end of my list, of course, as always, Skull and Bones. One of these years.
Are we just going to push that over? Because shall I just add that to all of our lists right now?
Copy and paste. Yep. All right, let's talk about our predictions here from Microsoft in 2020. Moon, you predicted the new console would just be called the Xbox. You were sort of thinking that they would go the iPad route, where you just call it the Xbox, and you just every new one, it just is still called the Xbox. It's just here's the 2020 model, here's the 2018 model.
If they didn't have two SKUs, I think they would be doing that.
And I think if my prediction still is they probably are doing that. It's just they have two product lines for it.
Yeah.
But we'll see in the next couple of years once they do the next version. You said price will be $500, which you got.
Ding ding.
Majority of titles will be backwards compatible all the way back to the OG Xbox.
Ding ding.
It works great. They buy 2 more studios, but they'll be smaller ones. They bought
ding ding.
They bought ZeniMax, which has a couple of small studios.
Studios this year, but yes, they bought ZeniMax.
They went on a shopping spree this year.
Yeah, they definitely did. xCloud will be part of Game Pass Ultimate. It's killing it on these predictions, man.
If there's one thing I know, dude, it's the green and black.
That's right. Nimp, you predicted
they were sure rainbows and sunshines, right?
No, you're gonna like this first one. They will be improving their console streaming service / application since Mixer hit it big in 2019.
Yep, and then they dropped it.
Yeah, they dropped it like really suddenly.
It was like a month or two after I made the prediction.
Yeah, they're like, hey,
horrible.
Starting next week. See ya. They will buy 3 well-known studios. Yes. Again, bought ZeniMax and like 50 other studios this year. And your joke one was that Xbox changes its logo color to purple.
Yeah.
Which, maybe. Not yet.
Yeah, we'll see if they buy Twitch.
That's right, yeah. My predictions were Microsoft will announce the launch name and price at E3. LOL. It'll launch at $500 and launch in October. My direct quote from this episode is, quote, they'll have plenty of stock for Black Friday, end quote.
Yep.
Yeah. What I got right?
They might have if everything wasn't online and everyone didn't have bots.
Right, yeah. And then I said they'll announce Game Pass backwards compatibility for the next console with nearly all Xbox One titles supported at launch, which they did. I think there was only like 2 or 3 that don't work. And I think
literally anything that has a Connect doesn't work. That's
right.
It.
Wah wah. All right, let's move on to our community predictions here. So this is where we start scoring. Musim said new Xbox releases in September. I feel like that's normally when it would launch. No major first-party launch titles like Halo, Gears, or Forza for Xbox One 2. That's a point. Microsoft announced a new IP, and it's a Sony-style third-person story action game.
Oh, well, I mean, they did buy like a bajillion studios and announced a whole bunch from those studios.
Yeah, but I feel like that was all pre-Series X stuff. Like it was,
Yeah.
Rare's working on this, but it doesn't have a release date. And we bought all these studios, and they're working on stuff, but not really like, here's what this studio's doing. It's coming out in 2021. Anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sort
do
of-
we really know what the medium is?
No, I just like saying bloober.
Yeah. Play 2's coming out. It's kind of along those lines.
Yeah, that's true. Optimus Servo says new console name will have something to do with it being in the 2020 decade. Thankfully, no. Elite 2 custom controller process. This was the controller lab stuff. I'm still surprised they didn't do that with the Elite 2, but I'm sure the price would have made it not worth it at all.
I'm curious if they've got the new design labs.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if they have the new console on Design Labs. I feel like they don't yet. But I get the impression that Moon is looking it up here.
It's like they have it.
Oh, weird. And then Scarlet console will be white. No? Just a black box.
Yeah. What was the code name for the S? I can't even remember now. Because Scarlet
Lockhart.
was... That's the one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. T-Bon Rock says xCloud will be announced as part of Game Pass. Yep. One. More third-party Japanese-developed games will come to Game Pass, including Atlas games. Square Enix is putting out a ton.
I was gonna say there's been a couple Japanese ones that have been popping up recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him a one
It's
for
at
that one.
least a half, if not a full.
Yeah. Project Scarlet will release before PS5. That was like 2 days, so yeah.
I love the fact, by the way, that literally it's 11 months out and we still didn't know the name of it. We're all referring to it as the code name.
Right. Right. Late Elf says Project Scarlet rumors will fly by May, June. About 2 additional types of console hardware, which will last 6 weeks, and we'll forget all about it because PS5. I feel like we had some rumors early on about the streaming box, where it's like, oh, it'll just be streaming. It won't even have a hard drive in it. But those dried up pretty quickly when Lockhart seemed to be pretty stable of a rumor. The pipeline between newer games and Game Pass releases will narrow further, making I Only Buy Digital fans both happier and richer, provided they have patience.
Let me tell you about all of the money I saved this year.
Yeah, talk about day-and-date releases. I give him a point for that one. Game Pass will wait until October, November to drop Final Fantasy XIII Collection to sweep it under the rug. Yeah, those games are good-ish. But no. Winemaker Joe says new Xbox will be cheaper than PlayStation, but no physical media. Backwards compatible with Xbox One digital purchases only. I think we can give a half point for that because of the Series S.
Yeah, 1,000%.
That very much describes that box. Console is another simple black box. Yep. Plus one
Simple,
for that one.
yes. If you would have said small, that would have been a different conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Keyboard mouse support for the new Xbox at launch. That's a +1. Just like the Xbox One. Most people don't know this, but just like the Xbox One, just plug a USB keyboard and mouse in, and it just works with games that support it. The Hannah says Project Scarlet ships a SKU with no disk drive.
Yep.
Get off to a good start. Project xCloud gets its final name and launch date. Its final name is xCloud.
Yep. So
I feel like that doesn't count because I feel like the spirit of the thing was here's a
no. A minimum of a half a point because it's still technically in beta, but xCloud is its final name. It doesn't matter if that name has changed.
Okay, I can give a point for that. Phil Spencer continues to rule. I mean, that's the center spot of bingo.
That's a gimme. He's not getting a point for that. We give him
Yeah.
a point for the other one. Don't give him a point for that one.
Yeah, that's the center spot on bingo. Like you get that one for free.
I am going to sabotage Hannah. I don't care. I'm going
I
to
can
sabotage.
see your morality compass just spinning.
Yeah,
real
he's-
fast.
He's pulling the left trigger at this time. Lucian DC says Microsoft will release a small box to compete with Stadia and completely destroy Google because of Game Pass. That was the early on rumor, was the 3 boxes for what's now the Xbox Series, which is X, S, and a streaming only tiny thing, and that never came to pass. Microsoft will release the new console. People will rave over the tech specs. It will be named something stupid, and the UI will not run smoothly.
Too wrong there.
I'd say half point, because they did release it and people are raving over the tech specs, but it's named not super great, but its name isn't stupid, and the UI runs smoothly.
Yep.
You have a half point for that. Microsoft will reacquire Bungie and immediately forces them to rename and reskin their new unnamed project, Halo Infinite Unlimited.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens next year.
Yeah, Bungie have given some interesting interviews this year about their Microsoft partnership, and the short story is they keep saying, like, hell no, never, literally never. It's like, okay.
Is it like one of those things though where it's like, we're never going to go back to that, but also thank goodness Microsoft on Activision?
Right. Yes, pretty much, yeah. Like, if we got to go back to someone, at least not Activision. Monkey Senior says, with all their studio acquisitions, Microsoft finally decides they have enough characters to make their own Smash-esque game. Not yet. I mean, maybe in 2021. New Viva Pinata game launch.
Series Brawl.
Right. Right. New Viva Pinata game launch title for next gen Xbox. Sadly, no. I need it so badly. The next Xbox doesn't have a number in its name. Yep.
Correct.
As a point. And our final one here, Maximus Prime says they will come in hard with their new console, meeting and exceeding expectations. The launch of their new Xbox couldn't be more different than the Xbox One.
True. I would say 100% true.
Yeah.
Because even just look at it from the top surface level messaging, the most powerful console available on the market versus we don't know what this thing does.
Right. They double down on Game Pass and bundle 3 to 6 months in with the launch of their new console.
I don't know if I got any of that.
I think it came with 1 month of Xbox Live Ultimate, but I think that was it. I feel like 2020 did really well for Game Pass for them. So at this point, it's just like, look, you probably already have it, or you're gonna get it. It's a no-brainer. So like, we don't need to give you a lot of it because you're gonna get it. It's like $2 for $2 for your first month.
And some people are already sorted all the way through till 2022.
Yeah. The launch of the new Xbox comes with a new Halo, and it becomes a console seller, and bringing the same feeling of the original Halo had when the OG Xbox launched. It says parenthetically, I know it isn't happening, but I can dream. Yeah, keep dreaming for that one. All right, Moon, let's talk about your predictions for 2021.
It's always hilarious listening to old predictions and then seeing what I have my new predictions down as, because my first prediction was Microsoft buys at least 2 new studios.
Right.
And I'm not kidding. It's literally the first thing I wrote down in my notes.
I mean, that's the phase they're in right now, is just let's keep stepping up studios.
That's my gimme. Buy 2 new studios. Don't include this next sentence as part of that prediction. That's the end of the prediction, Boston. That's the thing I want the points based on when you listen.
Okay. So prediction number 2.
No, not prediction number 2. Notation number 1. Okay. I hope those 2 studios are Japanese studios, but any 2 new studios will be fine.
Sure.
Prediction number 2. Gold finally goes away. They have to be phasing that thing out. There's no reason why they're not selling it anywhere unless they're phasing it out. So
in favor of that just being Game Pass and xCloud is the thing you subscribe to. Yeah.
Like, think about it. Like, Game Pass, you can increase that promotion because you say, okay, well, as Game Pass, then you get all of these 100 games and plus games to download, plus you get 4 free games a month or whatever they want to phrase it. Right. And then you cut gold out and you insert xCloud where gold used to be.
Sure. Right. And then you have the marketing push of multiplayer is free on the Xbox platforms. Okay, I like it.
My final prediction for Microsoft, which is named by my wife, which I love this one. Okay. She ran out of time, unfortunately, didn't realize when the predictions were, so there was none from here this year. Microsoft releases the X Stick.
Okay, like a Chromecast.
Chromecast, Fire Stick, whatever you want to call it.
Gotcha.
It's a dongle. You plug it into your TV. You have Game Pass and XCloud, and you start playing.
All right. Okay, I like it.
It's the next logical step for them to take for that whole games as a service market that they are going for.
Be interesting for my predictions. Yeah, interesting. All right.
Yes, it says that they do not do that.
Nimp, what are your predictions for Microsoft in 2021?
Well, this is going to be a little awkward because mine are pretty much the same as Moon.
Okay.
The first one I had was Xbox Live Gold will go away. Free/games with gold will go away. Just because of Game Pass. My next one was Microsoft will continue to buy studios.
Okay. That's the center part of bingo. Yep.
Yeah, and then the third one was the streaming console rumors thing will come to fruition this year.
Okay.
So
Your-
exact
yeah,
same
it's like, what the heck?
Okay. All right, so I've got 4 predictions here, and I it's kind of funny because all of mine are significantly different from your guys'. My first one is, I think we see Microsoft roll out a smart TV-based version of just xCloud this year, even if it's in a limited beta. So on like your Roku TV, you have an xCloud icon fired up, pair your controller to your TV, and then you'll do that. So I like the X Stick, which is also a fun name to say. I feel like one of those two is probably going to happen, but I'm hitching my horse to the xCloud TV thing.
You know what they say? X is going to stick it to you.
That 100%, yes. I think we'll see Microsoft convince one large publisher to have their games released day and date on Game Pass. I'm talking like Activision, EA, Take-Two, like one of the big publishers. I feel like
Capcom included.
yeah, potentially. I feel like they're still a big publisher, yeah. But like that level of publisher, not like Devolver Digital, who's kind of the second tier of publishers. We're talking about one of the big
every
ones.
Ubisoft game on Game Pass, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, someone like that, where it's like, all right, we've got Uplay as part of Game Pass, and all their games are here. And I feel like we're gonna see that with one of them this year, where it's just like, yes, the next Assassin's Creed that's just on Game Pass day and date. Don't even worry about it. I don't know who it will be, but I feel like this year is kind of the groundswell is going to hit that point.
Yeah.
I think for the rest of the stuff, I don't think Microsoft is going to rock the boat at all this year for anything else. I think they want to focus on getting consoles into people's hands and like produce those as fast as they can and push Game Pass as hard as they can. I feel like they've been focusing on games for the last couple of years, as they've been sort of as Spencer has been fixing as Spencer has been fixing Xbox's sort of brand and marketing. Now that that's in a great place, I feel like they just get consoles into people's hands and get Game Pass on their console, and not worry about anything else.
Yeah, new Jet Set Radio Future 1.
God, yeah, that'd be great. And my last prediction is, and I'll wrap this up in another section too. I think Halo Infinite launches to middling reviews. I think it'll say like it's a good game. It's not like obvious game of the year. It's not a garbage game. It's just good. But I kind of don't. I can't predict the specific reason. I can't be like, oh, it'll be graphics. It'll be this. It'll be lack of multiplayer or anything. I just think it'll kind of launch and the package will be fine. It'll be good.
You think it Destiny 2's it?
Yeah, we're sort of like, yeah, this is a 7 out of 10, and like, yeah, you should play it, but here's a list of caveats. Which I'll wrap that into another prediction here. Let's move over to the community. Monkey Senior says the next iteration of the Xbox Elite controller is revealed, and please keep the naming with the incremental numbers and not Xbox Elite Controller Series X. That's...
as much as I would appreciate that, I literally just paid $160 for an Elite Series 2, so no thank you.
I feel like it's a little too soon, especially with all the old controllers working on the Series X and S. I feel like there isn't enough of a reason to say, like, well, now it has a share button, and that's it. You know, Elite 3.
How much do you think, like, the Elite, like, Series 2 designers wanted to punch whoever put that share button on the new
You
controller?
put another button on it? Come on.
Dude, that's where our button sits. That's the button to switch the layout of the
Right.
buttons. That's our quick switch button. Why
Right.
are you putting a share button there?
Yeah, come on, man. You got to ask us this stuff. Halo Infinite is high on everyone's Game of the Year list. Less of a prediction and more of a hope that this game is amazing. I'd like it to come out and be amazing. They somehow convinced Nintendo to put a Game Pass app that allows xCloud gaming on the Switch. I would love it.
They're going to do it with. It's them.
Yep. Optimus Servo says purchase at least 2 new studios. There we go. We're properly aligned. Series X Edition Elite controller and curveball prediction: Phil Spencer retires. Hopefully not.
You know what would be hilarious if Sony hired him.
That's right. he just unveils a tattoo and it's just a PS5 and it's like, oh, collusion. The Hannah predicts Halo Infinite will come out in the second half of 2021, which that'd be a long wait for that.
Dude, he's right on that one.
Probably, yeah. Starfield gets a non-2021 release date, which, as I was reading this, I was like, why is this under the Microsoft one? Oh, right. The ZeniMax purchase. Right.
Yeah. He's not talking about the other one, the one that Nimp has played.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like that's probably pretty likely based on when they showed just the logo and they were like, it's super far off. That was E3 2019, 2018, a couple years ago.
It was 2019.
Yeah.
Because they showed that logo and then they did the teaser for the Elder Scrolls game as well, like Elder Scrolls 6.
And they were like,
just
they're both
so you know,
way off.
These are way off. And by the way, since then, we've also been bought by Microsoft.
Right. By the by. And this one's really interesting. A free tier of Game Pass with a small, frequently rotating selection of games to give potential subscribers a taste. I think that's interesting. It's like maybe a game or two every quarter where it's like, yeah, it's just like the Game Pass free or something like that. And you can see how it works. How does it work?
Do that with free play weekends.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I don't, but they so far haven't really branded it as Game Pass stuff.
To do with Game Pass, yeah.
Yeah, not yet at least. And T-Bomb Rocks wraps out our predictions here with the Xbox Series line of consoles will not support any form of VR. That's another free space, I feel like. After they drop Kinect, it's like I don't think you go there.
I'm not gonna lie, my hardball one was my curveball one that I was thinking of putting in there was that they hop up on third party support for VR and just be like, yep, okay,
sure.
Now we do it.
Yeah.
But I mean, Oculus 2 has gotten a bad rap, and there's a whole lot going on with VR space right now. So
yeah, not a good time. Yeah. Ubisoft will merge Uplay Plus into Game Pass. I mean that sort of sounds like along the same lines of mine, with kind of like expanding the Game Pass umbrella. And Atlas games will come to Game Pass. Probably more importantly, they need to come to Xbox platforms first, and then worry about Game Pass. But both of those things would be nice. All right, let's talk about our Nintendo predictions for 2020. Moon, you said Nintendo keep doing what they do, with a parenthetical, they will not improve their online services. So,
yes,
another free space, but yes, very much so. At least one new peripheral comes out this year. I don't think Ring Fit came out this year. I think that was a 2019 release, right?
No, but the Mario Kart.
Aha!
Yeah, the Mario Kart AR game.
Not just a peripheral, an AR
Mario
cart.
Kart Live.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
I got you, Moon.
Yeah. We get
Screw you,
dates
Hannah.
for No More Heroes 3, the next Zelda, and Metroid Prime 4. 3 strikes and you're
Wow.
out. It's a bummer. No new hardware, no new consoles, or anything. Yep. Nothing going on. Nimp, you said they implement some trophy/achievement system.
Nope.
Surprised we're not there yet. Developers must not be asking for it. I don't know. There will be no new Switch hardware this year, which is also right. And then you just said something Metroid.
Still
Which-
no.
Yeah.
I say we give him a point for that because technically we covered a Metroid game for Game Club this year.
That's
so that
true.
happened this year.
We did something Metroid.
We did something Metroid.
That's
so
right.
therefore,
A never before Metroid game for the Switch. Like, it
There
was
you
never
go.
released before in the Switch, but now it is.
Right.
God.
I said we'll see a new Pikmin announcement this year. Unfortunately, it won't be a Switch game, but a mobile title. And we got a remaster of Pikmin 3 instead. So, that's better.
yeah, I guess.
Nintendo will not produce any further Labo sets in 2020. Oh, yeah. I got that one. I had to double check because I was like, boy, in the longest year ever, did they release something this year? In the VR Labo, the last one they made came out in the middle of 2019. So, nothing this year. A
Interesting
direct,
experiment.
yeah. A direct this year, not sure when, will have the release date for Metroid Prime 4 as the final item in the video. Whoops,
It-
not that one. All right, let's
Did
move
anyone
on to...
predict Reggie?
What's that?
Did anyone predict Reggie?
No, none of us had any predictions about Reggie. That one came out as a total shock, where it's like, yeah, he'll be there forever. Him and Miyamoto holding down the fort.
Yep.
All right, back to the community predictions and scoring here. Musum says they release a Zelda or Mario when the PS5 launches.
Technically, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity came out.
No, doesn't count. Go away. Go away with the Muso games. They don't count.
Oh
I
my
love them.
God.
They
Wait a
don't count.
minute. That's a super spicy take. But I think that's very much an indication of how much Nintendo still is not interested in competing with the other two platform makers. They're like, okay, they came out with their new consoles. Good job, guys.
Well,
Whatever.
it's like the article that came out a couple of weeks ago about console sales in Japan. Like for like 3 months, 89% of console sales was the Switch.
Right. Yeah, same with the US, which is like it's selling like hotcakes since, weirdly, about March 2020, and it's been selling consistently since, for the last 9 months. But yeah, interesting. N64 games become part of their subscription service, which I don't believe they've shown up there.
Not yet.
Nope.
Nintendo announced the Can't Switch, a Switch that can only be used on your TV.
Oh, the 2DS. The 2DS of Switches.
Right. Optimus Servo says no new hardware. That's a 1. No mention of Labo. It's also a 1. And N64 Classic announced, which sounds like, as people have been asking them this year, they're like, no thanks. we're
Yeah.
good.
I mean, I'd really love to see them make mini versions of those controllers, though.
Yeah, it'd be pretty good. T-Bomb Rock says Nintendo will fund another second-party exclusive game like Bayonetta.
No More Heroes? Isn't that a Switch exclusive?
Are they funding that? I feel like they are. No More Heroes 3, I think they're funding. Yeah, that's a +1.
I was gonna say, what about Deadly Premonition 2? Wasn't that?
Yep.
Oh, there you go. There's
And,
a definite plus one.
Astral Chain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So you got a bunch. Konami announces a Game Boy Advance Castlevania Metroidvania collection. Boy, they released like everything around those like 3 or 4 games.
Mhm.
It's like they heard you and said no.
Right. Just because of that, dude. And a sequel to Mario plus Rabbids is announced, which sadly not. I was hoping they'd announce a sequel to that. Late Elf says, my wife will be talked into buying a Switch, play it for 3 days, and forget all about it. I don't think any of that is true. if I remember correctly from our community talks this year. Deadly Premonition 2, do we need to say more? Not sure when they'd let it drop. Curious to see how it'll handle scaling between screens.
Oh, they did it.
Yeah. Where is he on this page?
It's a broken mess, but they did it.
Yeah. Yeah, for anyone that's curious what I'm writing on, I have a notebook here with everybody's name and the points. Minecraft Dungeons would be better than it has any right to be, and children will scream over it. No.
It's better than it has any right to be, but
I was going to say, children screamed. My kids want it real bad, and I hear other kids talk about it a lot.
Oh, okay.
It's mostly the adults that are just like, eh.
I played Diablo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'd be okay to give him a point for that one, because it is better than it has any right to be, and children too. Yeah, okay. Talked me into it. Oh, that wasn't TiVo. Hold on, sorry. Put it on the wrong person. Jeez.
Stolen valor.
Yeah, that's right. Winemaker Joe says redesign of core Switch with better Joy-Cons, better D-pad, and thicker grips. Nope, but Hori's gotcha. Xenoblade Chronicles X gets a Switch port. I thought that was going to happen this year, and then I was doing some research for the show, and the dev said, absolutely not, it's too much money. I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. And Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 by the end of the year to counter the PS5 and Xbox for Christmas. Which...
Nope.
We only
nothing
got
about that this year.
Nothing.
Yeah. The Hannah says, new full-size Switch SKU announced at E3. A lot of nopes on that one for a lot of 2020 reasons.
It's just a TV that takes a Switch cartridge.
Yeah, that's right. Breath of the Wild 2 gets delayed. It hasn't even gotten delayed. They just put out that teaser, and it's like, we're working on it.
Yeah.
See you when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And Waluigi in Smash, which probably never.
Yeah. They don't like that big purple buddy, and that's fine. He gets the respect from the internet that he deserves.
That's right. Lucian DC says, after some corporate restructuring, Nintendo starts to play fast and loose with its IPs, resulting in crazy guest appearances of all your favorite Nintendo characters in other franchises. Cadence of Hyrule doesn't really count.
No, I think it was last year as well.
Oh, man, yeah.
I wish they would.
Yeah, I'd love to... We're seeing everybody else come into Smash, just not the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, you got Solid Snake and Steve from Minecraft in the same universe now, so...
Right, exactly. Nintendo unveils plans for a Switch 2, which has 2 screens in a folding clamshell design ethos. No, but Microsoft put that out with that whatever weird Surface thing they put out is.
I hate to say it, but that thing looks cool.
It looks cool. Apparently it is real bad.
Oh yeah, wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Nintendo delays Metroid Prime 4 again. No one is surprised. Did they delay that?
I don't think you can call it a delay if they can't say that it's even coming out yet.
Yeah, I feel like it's very much like Breath of the Wild 2, where it's like, yeah, we're still working on it. Like, it'll be out eventually. No big deal. Monkey Senior says Nintendo announces their TV-only counterpart to the Switch Lite, the Switch Heavy. Which is... Nintendo extends their Switch Online retro game selections with the Game Boy. Surprised they haven't done like a selection of those yet. And the menu's also controllable with the right thumbstick thing. Gains traction and becomes a standard for their games like Pokemon Sword and Shield and the Switch's home screen. Now, I don't think I've seen that in a lot of stuff on Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maximus Prime says they'll have a weaker lineup since most of their premier Nintendo titles have released on Switch. Kind of? Maybe half a point for that, maybe?
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I was jumping for. Yeah.
They've sort of just been supporting Smash a lot. Like, they put out Fire Emblem Three Houses this year? No, I think that was last year. Yeah, I think that's fair. They're doing a lot of third-party stuff and kind of letting independent devs do stuff. They'll come in third in console sales next fall. I wrote parenthetically here, LOL COVID. because this was the best-selling console in the country for pretty much the entire year, like just blasting through their sales projections. So the big N will finally something third-party support, but it won't find it because they're focused on Sony and Microsoft's new boxes. Not really.
Yeah.
They just don't care, really.
Nintendo don't care.
That's right. Moon, what are your predictions for Nintendo in 2021?
Zero new hardware. Number one. Give me a gimme, shall we say? Obviously Nintendo gonna do what Nintendo do. So I think zero new hardware from Nintendo. So no, zero new hardware. Go away. That's fine.
I think you're right. There's no qualifications on that. Just like, no, there isn't any.
The store will still be broken, and by broken I mean full of absolute garbage and
The Steam
other
problem.
words I can't say right now.
Right.
Which they won't fix. They're just going to ignore it. They're just going to let it continue to be itself.
Yeah.
No new big three releases.
Okay.
So Mario, Zelda, Metroid, nothing gets released this year.
Right.
This upcoming year. I don't even know.
2021.
Time is a void these days. No new releases this year. Maybe a teaser here and there, but definitely nothing out for like solid release. And my big hope, a brand new Wave Race game.
Oh, there you go. That'd be great.
Give me a Wave
all right.
Race.
Nimp, over to you.
All right. I believe that Nintendo is going to keep releasing AR/IRL products like Labo. They seem to be making like a weird niche with that, which ebbs and flows. Like people seem to really love Labo, and then they don't anymore. And everyone seemed to really love the Mario Kart game, but all of a sudden everyone went quiet on that.
Right.
So Nintendo will just do what they'll do. They'll just release something, and then everyone will have an opinion. They'll be like, okay, and then they'll just move on to the next thing.
Right.
And then the only other thing I had for Nintendo was we will see something of Microsoft on the Switch.
Right.
I don't have anything more than that. I doubt it'll be Halo. That would just be funny.
Right.
But I think Microsoft, with the relationship that they've been slowly developing together, besides Minecraft, I'm not counting Minecraft.
Yeah, that's its own crazy thing.
But like I'm thinking that Microsoft and Nintendo will do something together, and maybe you'll see it on both of them. But I don't know. That's it.
Mine are. I put this under the wrong section. Mine are. I really see Nintendo working to push out the games they've already committed to. I feel like we might see Breath of the Wild 2 this year. I don't feel like we'll see Metroid Prime 4, but maybe we'll get like a trailer or something with some gameplay, just to kind of keep going. But I feel like it'll be maybe a year with one of the big releases out there, but kind of not. I don't think we'll see a Mario. I don't think we'll see Metroid Prime 4, but we might see Breath of the Wild 2. I also agree. I don't think we'll see any new hardware this year or like any hints of it. The Switch is selling so well as it is right now. I really don't think you mess with that at all. I don't even think there was so much market confusion when they just released a new one that had a slightly larger battery in it. I don't think they do any of that stuff this year. I think it's just you put another skin on it for Zelda, you put another skin on it for Animal Crossing, and you kind of sell that, and that's really it. Metroid Prime 4's release window gets announced, but it won't be coming out until 2022. Just largely because I think they're just still working on that.
This is turning into Half-Life. Every time someone says anything, Nintendo just pushes it back.
Right, exactly. All right, let me scroll back up here because I got all out of order. We're doing Nintendo 2021. Monkey Senior says, achievements are added to the Switch, probably integrated into the Switch Online app. That's an interesting one, trying to use the app a little bit more than they currently are.
I bet you it would be something so stupid like
Right.
that.
It's not on
Or
the
it's like,
console, but
yeah,
pull up the app to see your... Yeah, that does sound very Nintendo. The GBA is added to the Nintendo Switch Online section, and folders are added to the Switch's home UI. That'd be great. Optimus Turbo says no new hardware. Breath of the Wild 2 gets a 2022 release date, and Curveball, a Sony platform exclusive character, comes to Smash Brothers. I don't know if you see Aloy get in there from Horizon.
Isn't Kratos on Fortnite now?
He is. He looks really good in Fortnite.
Yes, I'm sure all you want to make him look like the God of War.
Yeah. The Hannah says new Switch SKU announced, so he's going against the grain that we're doing, saying, yeah, they got another one coming out. Breath of the Wild 2 release date announced, and Zelda Maker announced and or released, and he has a couple of crossed fingers emojis there. Zelda Maker would be really great. I think that'd be really fun to like make a 2D top-down Zelda.
The 3D Dot Hero remake we're waiting for.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And closing out our predictions here, T-Bomb Rock says Nintendo will start to lighten up on their strict streaming agreements. Maybe I feel like I don't know if they really care enough. They're selling so much stuff. I don't think they need to change anything really. Castlevania collection of Game Boy Advance games will be remastered for the Switch. Just keep on rolling it every year.
Stop. Like,
never. I wanted to happen too. It's never happening.
More importantly, stop giving me hope.
Yeah.
Because the Castlevania DS games are some of the best Castlevania games, period.
Yep. Yeah, Game Boy Advance and DS Castlevania games are real good. And his free space is Reggie's body is still ready. He might not be in Nintendo anymore physically, but he is in spirit.
Well, yes.
All right, so that was Nintendo. Let's move on to Sony, our predictions for 2020. Moon, you started with PS5 is $500. Yep.
Okay.
PS5 will have backwards compatibility, but it will be very limited. Probably only first-party games will work. Shockingly not. Surprising all of us.
Although it looked like it was going to be that for the longest time.
Yeah. 2 new exclusive titles. We had... I don't know, even after listening to this, it doesn't seem like this was focused on like PS4 or PS5.
That's probably because I was general as hell, so I could get all of the points I can.
There you go.
I might not be the most rightest, but I can definitely be the most correctest.
That's right.
We did the most blanket of statements.
Yeah. This sort of ties into your last point here. Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima will slip to being PS5 exclusive games. Shockingly, no.
Nope.
I think last year we were saying like, oh yeah, this is a given. Like, why release it on PS4? PS5 is right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly. Nimp, you said Sony will try to launch their own streaming service to compete with Mixer.
Nope.
No. Sorry, Mixer. Sony will release an Elite-style controller for the PS5.
Still hasn't happened.
Yeah, instead they just released that thing, that back button thing for the PS4.
Yeah.
Which apparently worked really well, and I never got around to buying that because the PS5 came out.
I'm pretty sure nobody did.
Yeah, no, it sold really well. It's just like no one's talking about it because you didn't have to spend $160 for a new controller. Sony drops quietly a bunch of VR games.
Nope.
I don't think they did. Either they did so quietly that none of us remember, or
I'm surprised they're still supporting PSVR and PS5. That still blows my mind. My predictions are Sony unveils the PS5's full details at E3, LOL, and it has full BC with PS4 titles. Shockingly, yes. They'll announce the price, and it'll be $600 at launch. Wow, I went way up there. And launch in October, getting out well before Black Friday / holiday. Like, I got some of that, right? If backwards compatibility comes out, something fundamental about it doesn't work, like PS5 doesn't read PS4 discs, something like that. That would be a Sony thing to happen.
Yeah.
My left field prediction was Sony announces they're dropping PS Now. It won't be supported on PS5. Oh, they're just really sticking to that thing.
Yeah.
And my last one is Sony starts making noises about putting out a new PSVR headset, but nothing concrete will show up in 2020. They are barely... There's like one webpage for like, yeah, here you can... We'll send you a free adapter for your PSVR for PS5. Stop asking about it. And that's about it.
Yeah. And it doesn't
alright.
even work with the new PS5 camera. You still have to use your old PS4 camera.
That's right. I forgot.
Yep.
Yeah. Just drop it, Sony. Just didn't work. Musim here starts off our community predictions. PS5 launches at approximately $500. Yep. PS5 is more powerful than Xbox One 2. They're both the same power, so doesn't matter.
But
the Terra, yeah,
I know. I was waiting for you guys to do like the fake internet straw man, where it's like, yeah, but
actually
Digital Foundry. Yeah.
As a side note, did you guys hear the news about how all of a sudden it's swinging the other way, where now PS5 is the more powerful console compared to the Xbox?
I feel like this is getting. I feel like this is going to happen this entire generation, where it's like, this one runs better on PS5, this one runs better on Series X and Series S. And it's like, okay, cool. We don't even have current gen exclusive, like developed for the current gen games out yet. So like all these people are doing are just spinning their wheels in the mud.
Like, can't you people just be happy that something new and shiny came out and it just works for the most part?
Look at the load times; they're incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go be happy about that. Yeah. $500 controller is added. That's just a better Vita. Sadly, no. Optimus Servo says new console will be black. I like that. I like that he could have just flipped those predictions between the two consoles and gotten 2 extra points, but shockingly, no. It's very much not black. PS2 remasters is a focus. No, shockingly, PS2 games running really well on Series X.
Yeah. Emulators are crazy.
Yeah. 3 first-party VR games announced. Sadly, no. Probably not sadly for Sony, though. T-Bomb Rock says a high-profile Sony exclusive will launch in PS Now. I don't think we've seen that yet. I think we're seeing newer games launching in PS Now faster, but nothing exclusive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sony will focus less on indies, but focus on third-party exclusive content deals. I think this last year they focused mostly on first-party stuff.
Yep.
It wasn't even
from what we can see. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even a lot of third-party or indie stuff. Demon's Souls remake announced as a Sony exclusive. Whoa.
Yep.
+1.
Out of left field.
Yeah, man. Late Elf says the PlayStation 5 will take us back to the late 90s by looking like it belongs in someone's trunk next to RGB lit stereo amps.
1,000% correct.
Yeah, that's a good way of
You tell me the Fast and the Furious, the first movie, that first scene where they're heading out and they meet everybody for the first race, and the boots are up, the trunks, if I'm going to speak American, are open, and all those speakers and stuff, and people playing Gran Turismo in their cars.
Just hanging out there.
You tell me that thing directly in the middle doesn't make perfect sense?
Yep, I like it. PSVR, Iron Man is going to look really cool, but come up short on game length. Yeah. That released this year, by the by. Final Fantasy VII Remake will leave half the fans of the old one shaking their fists at the Cloud or at Cloud, because we're old and, oh god, we're going to get that scene in high-res, somebody grab the tissues.
No, we didn't even make it that far.
No, we're not even nowhere close. Yeah.
But I'd give him half a point. Half the people were mad at the remake, so
Sure. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
fair. Winemaker Joe, PS5 looks weird, but is
Check.
100% backwards compatible with all old PlayStation discs. I mean that's a half because it's backwards compatible with PS4 discs, but not anything before that. As someone who likes both consoles a lot, PS5 looks weird. And it's so heavy and large. Sony
Just
makes
let the voices talk to you, and do what the makers tell you.
That's right. Sony makes it so you have to use memory cards to upgrade internal storage and won't let you use external hard drives. They won't let you use internal storage yet, but they will let you use external hard drives.
Eventually, when they give you a list.
Well, you can't even. That port doesn't even work yet. They have
That's
to
what I'm saying.
do
Eventually, yeah.
well, they have to do an OS update, like a firmware update to make that port work. And costs $75 more than Xbox. Shockingly not. The Hannah says PS5 officially revealed before E3. LOL. PS Plus /now/ etc. get rebranded leading up to PS5 launch. Also, surprisingly, no. I thought that would be the time to like. It's not PS Now anymore because you guys don't like that. It's something else. You know, just please try. Sony brings back the Boomerang controller. Well,
it's close, but it's just
close.
not quite there.
Not long enough. Yeah. The console itself is big, but the controller is not long. Lucian DC says, after saying that they're out of the mobile video game scene for good, Sony announces a smartphone-based games ecosystem and a bunch of exclusives. Expected hype is only lukewarm. Shockingly, they didn't do too much of that sort of stuff this year. It was just, here's a bunch of third-person character action games from our studios and the PS4. So... PS5 requires always online with no sharing of games after installation. History repeats itself. It is way easier to share your library of games on the PS5 this time because it's built into the OS and you just say share with this other person. 2 thumbs up. The PS5's backwards compatibility is horribly broken due to all the work Sony put into making sure people could change their gamer tags. You know, I totally forgot about that happening, and I haven't seen anybody have problems with the PS5 after they changed their name. Good job, Sony. We didn't believe you, and you still managed to pull it out.
Well, it was funny because they came out with like a laundry list of stuff that could go wrong.
Right.
And yeah, I haven't heard anything about it.
No, yeah. Monkey Senior says Sony messes up backwards compatibility. Our faith in Sony is overwhelming. PS5 will have a weak selection of not also on PS4 games at launch. I'd say that's a +1. They're focusing a lot on the PlayStation Plus collection, and not a lot of like you got Bug Snacks and you got Astro's Playroom, and that's about it. State of Play finds a suitable host figure to break up the constant trailer after trailer. No. They stopped doing those for a while they were announcing the PS5 anyway. Maximus Prime wraps this up with, they will start the year strong and that momentum will carry through to next gen. The Final Fantasy VII Remake and Last of Us 2 do great critically and financially. I'd say that's a point. I think all of that was true. Yeah. Unlike last gen, Sony closes out 2020 neck and neck with Microsoft. It looks like this gen is going to be a lot closer battle. The winners are the gamers. Yes. I feel like both of the consoles, Microsoft and Sony, the PS4 and the Xbox One, both closed out pretty neck and neck at the end of the day. Get another point for that one. Okay. Let's talk about our predictions for 2021, starting with you, Moon.
Oh boy. There we go. So I need to unlock my tablet really quick. Sony literally abandons VR completely.
Okay, like officially.
Yes. I think there is rumors going around right now that they're working on a VR2 and they've got a bunch of patents in place, but how often do we see these patents fall apart and turn into nothing?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think they're done with VR. I think they can do because there's just not enough interest in it. So
Yeah.
the old VR will still work on the new system as it does right now, but that's it. That's as far as you're going to get. And they're going to continue with that wonderful thing. Like, for example, Hitman 3 has got a PlayStation VR mode, I believe,
It does.
which you can only play on the PlayStation 4 version. You can't play the PlayStation 5 version of Hitman 3 with the VR.
I didn't know that. That's
Yes.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Within 12 months of these consoles coming out, so let's just say by the time we record this episode next year, Sony will still not tag which versions of the games are which in an easily understandable way for the current generation of platforms.
Sadly, that's probably true.
Because right now you can have Bugsnax installed twice, Spider-Man installed twice, Miles Morales installed twice, and the way you have to find it out is I believe you have to go to the three-dot menu in each game and like figure out which version it is.
Yep.
And panel looks the same, and it can be right next to each other on the quick access bar too.
It's frustrating, yes. Yeah.
So I bet you give them literally. I'm giving them a year, and they still will not have fixed this issue.
Yeah, because they're probably going to say like, well, eventually people are going to stop putting out PS4 games, so the problem just goes away by itself.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the Xbox, like literally before anything even happened, it was like, here are the tags, here are the ones that are installed, here are the Game Pass ones, here are the Gold ones.
Here's the
ones
filter.
Yes.
Yep.
Like, it's ridiculous. They announced 2 new first-party games. I'm not going to say new IPs. I'm just going to say new first-party games.
Okay.
They're going to be the same as all of the other Sony games.
Sure. The third-person character action game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's all I got for Sony because I don't know.
All right, Nimp, what do you have?
I also have that PlayStation VR will slowly be dropped by Sony.
Yeah.
Not necessarily just discontinued this coming year, but we will hear less and less and less. And then by like 2022, they'll start doing the whole Vita thing of, well, what VR?
It'll be like the 3DS where it's like, it's very important to us. And then next month they'll be like, the what now? That's one of ours?
I believe that PlayStation will keep pushing PlayStation Now. I don't know if they'll do anything with it, though, is the problem.
Yeah,
I think
they'll just keep adding games to it.
Yeah, no one seems to know what they're doing with that. I don't even think Sony really knows what they're doing with that.
No, I was just about to say that, like, they have no idea.
Yeah. And then my final thing is I'm still throwing it out there. We'll eventually get a PlayStation Elite controller.
Right. PS5 seems to be the time. Like, hey, you got a brand new generation. Bring out the new hotness.
Yeah.
I think Sony largely keeps their head down this year and focus on platform stability, OS features, and pushing out games. I just like Nintendo and Microsoft, I don't think this is the time where they rock the boat. I think this is just like Nintendo. We have to get the consoles out and get them in people's hands, and that's kind of their biggest priority. I don't think they do, like you said, like no PSVR, no any other consoles, no nothing. Just here's the PS5, got the 2 models. We are trying to get it out in stores, I promise. I think Sony goes back to the State of Play series now that the PS5 is out, but I think they still don't make the right choices in regards to it. They don't put a person in front of it. They don't try and make it a little bit more of they don't get their Adrian Nelson. They don't get, the flow that the Nintendo Directs have. It just kind of, here's like a 7-minute trailer thing we put out every month, and they just don't get it right. I think to wrap this back up from the Microsoft section, I think Horizon Forbidden West also launches to middling reviews, and I think it's nothing super specific, but I think it probably won't be like as big of a leap over the first one as maybe people are expecting. It's just kind of like, yeah, it's Horizon 2, but
It's a continuation. Yeah.
yeah, like we made another one, and I feel like reviewers might not be super receptive to that. And my last one is I don't think we'll see a Sony equivalent to Game Pass. I think they'll stubbornly stick to PS Now, and I think Sony thinks that that's what differentiates the two platforms, but I don't think they realize it's not a positive. Like,
I mean,
yes,
not yet. Who knows? Maybe
Right.
they actually do something with it, but
Sure. I mean, they're moving to the Azure cloud system over a period of time. So maybe when they get over there, PS Now will have some big features or something. But just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you do have something that's different from Game Pass, but that's not a good thing.
yeah.
Let's move to our community predictions. If I scroll all the way down here, Monkey Senior said folders are re-added to the home UI. Seriously, why did they not implement them from the start? They were great on the PS4. Yep.
I'm actually surprised they did take that out.
Yes.
Because everyone seemed to really like that when they added it to the PS4.
It was very nice. That's why we were talking about the differentiations between the two new consoles, which is sure Microsoft didn't change anything for the new consoles with the OS, and largely that's a good thing because everything is still there. It's just on a way more powerful box.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's good and bad, but there are a lot of positives there. No new hardware released, no PSVR 2 or the PSP 5G, which is as we're recording this, that is the dumbest / funniest prediction we have seen in a while. And PS5 stock never becomes readily available at retailers. I mean,
So far.
yeah, that might be 2020. 2021 might be a little bit hard for the stock of all three consoles. Optimus Servo says overall sales lead continues. I don't think we have a good impression of after the first month of how they've sold because both of them are completely sold out.
Yeah.
The word
Yep.
the word on the street is that Sony made about 1 million more consoles than Microsoft did, but that kind of doesn't mean anything because it's still just so early days on the stuff. We'll have a really good idea this time next year, but as of right now, it's pretty early. They debut a Game Pass clone. It would be great. And Curveball PS5 is seen on store shelves regularly in 2021. That would also be great. I'd like more people to be able to buy this stuff. The Hannah says custom PS5 wings / faceplates from Sony. This is one of the funniest cease and desist I have seen this year, which is you can't make custom faceplates for the PS5, and it's like, why stop them? What's wrong with you? What are you doing? DualSense sees limited usage outside of the few games that have implemented it so far. I really don't want that to be the case, but that will probably be the case.
Yeah.
It will probably be Aloy uses a bow in Horizon and the string tension, and that's probably about it. Their PS5 NVMe storage certification process remains confusing. It's Sony, so I feel like that's a given. And T-Bomb Rocks wraps it out here by saying no PSVR support for the PS5. I'm assuming he's talking from a game perspective, like no one releases any more PSVR games, which is probably pretty safe. Sony will finally offer the correct stick placement of offset thumbsticks. I feel like you might be underestimating how stubborn Sony is. And,
although, surprisingly, they did change the accept cancel
in Japan,
so...
and God, Japan is so angry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't blame them, but yeah, like, as a mistake. And then we'll finally have a first-party wrestling game of some type in 2021. I don't even...
yeah.
Battle Royale comes back.
I mean,
If they make a deal with
don't-
like AEW, maybe, but
That's the thing is AEW just signed a deal
oh,
with
interesting.
Ukes, creator
That's
of the
right.
WWE games,
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a
and
great get for the AEW.
for Ukes, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like we can talk about that on the main show, like in the past / future.
Right.
But yes,
Yeah, they
like,
signed that. They signed that a couple months ago. I forgot about that.
yeah, they did a press conference like 2 weeks ago for it, and I
Oh,
completely
nice.
missed it.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about our general and overall predictions here for 2020. Moon, you says Stadia struggles. Your direct quote is, "A few people have it and love it. The rest of us don't care." End quote.
I think I pretty much nailed that one on the head.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
big old point for that one. VR continues to struggle. Gets a relatively big boom with Index and Half-Life Alyx, but then back to the status quo. Look at you, like just predicting the entire future of this, this really long prediction that totally nailed it. Yeah. Sorry, Valve. The Nymph says, except for mainstays, there'll be very few console exclusives. Yeah, I feel like we saw a lot of console exclusives this past year on PS4.
Yeah.
Not a ton on Microsoft's side, but they bought a bunch of huge studios this last year, so I feel like that'll probably change pretty quickly. Most games, including JRPGs, will be available on PC. I mean, there's a lot more JRPGs. There are 2 more. But I mean, the sea change is definitely happening with actual JRPGs on PC, especially with how super well Persona 4 did on PC. And you said you wrapped this up with an LOL of yourself. There will be no video game controversies.
That was my Blue Sky Rainbows one.
Yeah. I said Stadia will fail to take off once it's out publicly. We'll get a shutdown announcement before the start of 2021.
Oh, so close.
I know. It's definitely failing to take off, but they seem to be sticking with it.
I still see ads for it.
Yeah, they're still working on it. Square will announce Final Fantasy 16 at E3. Not at E3, but they announced it this year.
Yeah.
Now that the first part of Final Fantasy 7 has launched, which was Final Fantasy 7 Remake, it's still a few years off.
Yep.
Yeah. And my sort of curveball one was Netflix will announce a dedicated gaming division with an intention to offer games in the cloud via their existing service.
We're not too far off.
They've done a couple more of those Twine choose your own adventure ones, but nothing more.
And their in-house animation company is doing a lot of video game anime.
That's true.
So you're getting there.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the community ones. Musim says Google makes standalone portable Stadia, requires data plan from a phone company. No, they're having trouble getting people to buy the Chromecast ones. So, yeah. Square Enix announces Final Fantasy VII Remake for Xbox One 2. Sort of the reverse. I'm assuming in a couple of months they'll be like, "Hey, it's been a year. Don't tell anyone. It's coming out on the Series X." And when it does, everyone should go play it. And SMT5 not released. No updates given. We did get a release date.
Yep.
Shockingly. Now we'll see if they meet it. Optimus Servo says crossplay becomes standard. I feel like it is the standard, but still not everyone is meeting that standard. We're getting really close, though, where it's like, yeah, our game came out, of course it has crossplay, of course it has cross-progression. But I don't think we're there yet. Half a point, maybe?
Oh, I wish we were there, but we're not.
Yeah. Stadia remains a poor gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah. And last year of E3. We didn't even have an E3 this year.
Yeah, it was planned.
Right. These are the tough ones because of the nightmare that was 2020. Is sort of like it's
The
probably
circumstances
the last.
of 2020. Thank
Right.
you very much.
Yes. T-Bomb Rock says Konami announces another entry in the Silent Hill franchise. I don't know. I was just going to say I don't think they did. I know the answer to that is no.
I know there's been a lot of fervor for Silent Hill recently, but I don't know if they said anything.
I don't think so. I think it's people saying,
there
like,
like
there's a new console out. You want to put out Silent Hill? And Konami's
Yeah.
like, LOL, no.
I think there was like a pachinko machine or something like that was Silent
Yeah.
Hill.
That's I
made
feel
a-
like that's always
They
happening.
made a brand new Metal Gear Solid game recently, and it was a pachinko machine, and it looks sick as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steam will offer its own Game Pass style monthly game service. No, but now you can earn Steam coins.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Stadia will change its platform style and offer a Game Pass monthly subscription model. Nope, they're sticking with what they got. Late Elf says 2020 is the year Nintendo figures out the players want baked-in comms, in-game communication. This will not be resolved outside of Japan until 2032. They have not learned that message, and they are disinterested in hearing it, apparently.
Yep.
Nintendo talks about an ultralight Switch. Sony fields ads for an app that lets you legally play PS1 games on your phone. And Microsoft says, that's not really our focus at this time. Then tries to sell ideas to Niantic for ARGs. I feel like that was a curveball one, and none of those happened.
Yeah.
Yep.
My backlog will grow exponentially until I'm forced to finish Xbox 360 games, while the rest of you are playing the newest NeuroStim VR edition of Skyrim.
Dude, my Xbox Series X and its 500 installed games says hello.
That's right. Also, sort of surprised that we haven't heard anything about a current gen version of Skyrim. I know it's like backwards compatible and everything, but I feel like
Just wait.
yeah,
Well,
There'll probably be
From
an
what I
announcement
understand-
right after we record that.
100% with ray tracing. It's like, oh man, it got me again.
yeah, from what I understand, there is actually a mod on Skyrim because the Xbox One version now supports mods.
Oh, okay,
There's a mod to uncap the frame rate.
great. I love it. Winemaker Joe says Stadia bleeds users and they give more free games and discounts to try and keep people. Yes.
I don't know if they gave anything free, but they're bleeding users from
Yeah.
what I heard.
Give him a half for that one. Final Fantasy VII breaks sales records. I had to go look up the sales numbers on this. They sold 5 million units pretty quickly, but then Square Enix stopped reporting sales numbers after that fact. So I think Final Fantasy 15 sold more than 7 did. So surprisingly, console exclusive Final Fantasy game didn't sell great. Well, it sold well, but Nintendo 64 Classic announced, which shockingly no. Hannah says Stadia dies a slow, quiet death.
Slow and quiet, but not dead yet.
Yeah, not.
Like
they're trying. They're trying. A prominent Twitch streamer says something hateful. I wrote here. I mean, there were a few.
Yeah.
Give him a point for that one. Destiny 2 PS4 load times somehow get worse. Yeah. And then they got better because they removed 5 nights of the game. Ta-da. Lucian DC says the new TV show about the making of Doom creates great interest from the general public, resulting in a string of terrible reality TV shows about game development. Shockingly, this hasn't come out yet. It's still in development.
Yeah.
Largely because the circumstances surrounding 2020.
Yep.
Moonpier's hard drive is still near max because of all the great games that came out in 2020. Yeah.
Ding ding.
Where's Lucian? Get a +1.
Maybe half a point because it's not necessarily full of 2020 games. It's mostly
Sure.
just full of games.
The spirit is there. Valve teases Half-Life 3 in their new VR game, then is radio silent to no one's surprise. No spoilers, but +1. At the very least, because they've been radio silent on Half-Life again.
Yeah.
Monkey Senior says cross progression becomes a standard on multi-platform games.
I wish.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I feel
pretty
like-
much just everybody except for Sony.
well, I mean, this is cross progression, so it's not cross play.
Oh yeah, and I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's like even with like Genshin,
Uh-huh.
I can do cross progression between
Oh, sure.
PC and mobile, but I can't do
Right.
it with Sony.
Yeah. Well, the one that vexes me the most is Apex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a half, because it's like, yeah, it's the expectation, it's the standard, but like we're still finding out there's some rather large releases that are still not doing that. Cross play becomes a standard on multi-platform multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Becoming
are
bigger.
there? Yeah, I mean that's probably another half for the exact same reason. Nostradamus predicts here, society breaks down for at least a week because of March/April releases. And I wrote, yeah, but maybe not for that reason.
No. Technically, it was releasing to the extent that it caused a problem in March and April. So therefore, I think full on quote here, full on
There you
point
go.
here, I should say.
Yeah.
This is like Kojima in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance kind of level of prediction. Some of these,
Right. And Maximus Prime wraps it out here. The season pass is slapped onto everything and they do well. But the extended life of games starts to show that we'll have far less AAA games in the future as games as a service becomes the mainstay. I feel like that's a point because I feel like we're seeing a lot of games that have a longer tail on them. Like Sea of Thieves is getting its first season and its first season pass. Rocket League just got its first season pass. I feel like games like that are moving, as opposed to now that loot boxes are sort of falling out of favor to get ahead of potential legislation. I feel like they're now moving to the season pass model.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think we're seeing less AAA games in the future. I just think we're seeing those also have season passes in them.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll give them a plus, half point for that one. Game streaming services struggle to get footing as the reality of broadband speeds and bandwidth caps prove that very few people can rely on game streaming as a way to play games on a regular basis. Google is stuck in the middle waiting for the very thing that made it what it is, the internet, to catch up to its premature goals as the first largely successful game streaming service. I think 2020 showed us that the problem isn't necessarily the core problem isn't broadband speeds and bandwidth caps. That is a problem, but the core problem with game streaming services is they're not Game Pass services. It isn't here you just get xCloud, because that's the real expectation is, well, I'm not paying $15 a month to then buy a $60 game I don't own that I then use up all my bandwidth to stream. Like, there's three problems there all at once, as opposed to you pay $15 a month, you get X list of games. So it definitely is a problem. It's just not the problem. And he says, we finally buy a Switch, and for the first time since my wife and I have been married and had children, she starts playing video games again. Thank goodness. I don't know. But that would be nice. All right, let's move on to general industry / games predictions for 2021. Mr. Moon, we'll start with you.
Why? How dare you?
Unlocking the tablet here. Moon.
I'm trying to figure out what to start with.
Okay.
Because, funnily enough, we get a proper trailer for AEW's wrestling game is actually one of my predictions.
Okay.
Okay. These are all dark-sided, but I'm going to blame that on the conditions of the year 2020.
Yes.
No major lawsuits are settled,
Okay.
which is specifically talking about things like, I don't know, Apple and Epic.
Right.
I'm saying we see at least at least 12 months of litigation on that thing, so expect to not hear anything about that until, I don't know, 2025 or so.
And then you just hear that everything's been done behind closed doors. That's the end of it.
It was settled
Exactly.
out of court. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Either that's going to happen, or Belgium or somewhere like that is going to impose a law that forces Apple to change it enough to the point where Apple are just going to change it across the globe to make it easier.
Right.
And then the lawsuit is irrelevant, so therefore it doesn't matter anymore.
And Epic says,
But-
we won. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
not really.
Yeah, technically, the European government won,
Right.
whichever country it is that's causing the issues.
Right.
This one feels a little bit too dark-sided, but Twitch issues at least 3 quote-unquote apologies.
Okay. All right. I like it.
Because, it's Twitch, and that's
Yeah.
all they do these days is quote-unquote apologize while sitting on their Jeff Bezos money.
Yep.
They all start with sort of like, we made a whoopsie doozle, or we're sorry you feel that way, or something like that.
Yeah, we're sorry that we started deleting your videos in the middle of a pandemic because of licensed music issues.
One of them
Whatever.
is, racism has no place on our platform. And it's like, you sure? Because you just did something real bad.
Mm-hmm. Have you looked at the animal abuse cases on your platform recently too, please?
God, yeah, at a minimum, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And perhaps the darkest is the dark side. We can leave the house.
Ta-da! Hopefully that's a free space.
That's it.
All right,
People want to play Pokemon Go and the Harry Potter mobile game and whatever that other thing that they did. They want
You
to
can
play
still
mobile
do that.
games.
Just stay in your car.
Yeah. Well, now
I
you can
actually
just
wonder-
play them at home because they
Well,
People
I
changed
want
them.
actually
that
heard-
in parks.
Yeah.
I've heard that they've increased the range that you can click on whatever you need to click on for both those games.
Yeah.
And I also heard that they got rid of, because there used to be a thing where if you were moving too fast, you wouldn't be able to play the game. And I've heard
okay.
from some people that they've gotten rid of that.
Nice.
So,
I can
Well,
play in a
yeah.
plane now. Hell yeah.
Well, if it's not infinite range, it's not good enough.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, Nib, what do you
Yes.
have for your general industry games predictions?
I have that streaming will still continue to be a thing. We have Luna coming out at some point, Amazon's Luna.
Yep. It's in
I
beta right now.
Yeah, I think I think that this would actually, once everything's said and done, this could be the thing that bridges the gap between PC and consoles, where you no longer have that whole thing of, well, PC master race or Xbox fanboy, PlayStation fanboy, whatever. But I still think the biggest thing that would be holding it back would be ISPs.
Yeah.
A la what Comcast did last month. So,
Yep.
the next one that I have is mobile games will continue to become, I guess, like the biggest thing ever.
Okay.
We don't hear a whole lot about it now, but a lot of mobile games are making tons of money.
Yes.
And I am slowly starting to see it where IPs from video game franchises are slowly getting mobile games. Like Fire Emblem has one. There was talks of a possible Persona one a while ago, which I don't know if that's real or not.
Call of Duty Mobile is huge.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Also, in a lot of places, in places like China, where there is huge markets and limited releases.
it's kind of gotten to the point where whenever I see an article about an IP, I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And then I see that it's mobile, that I'm kind of like, really?
Really? I know I can sync controllers, but come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's all I've got for general.
I am aligned with Moon. I say Apple and Epic's lawsuit continues to drag out through the entire year. I think that's just going to be this Hamilton and Burr sort of fight the entire year. Where it's just going to be throwing darts at each other the whole year in press releases that eventually people just stop reporting. So I think in like a month, like in January, if they're still sort of throwing barbs, we're just like, okay, who cares anymore? You guys are going to fight for the rest of the time.
Or it's going to be that thing where like a year later they're going to be like, "Hey, if you just go to this website, you can get your $1.25 from the lawsuit or whatever."
Exactly. Right. I just write. I have no idea what's going to happen with E3 this year. I don't know. I feel like if the data breaches of the last couple of years hadn't happened, I feel like 2021 might be the return of E3. But I think because of all because of the timing of the console information releases for the PS5 and the Series X happening so late in the year, I feel like pretty much everybody might be like, yeah, we don't need to do that anymore. Just keep doing our own thing. Square Enix releases a release date for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Coming in 2022. It will not come out on previous gen consoles. It'll be a PS5 and Series X exclusive, which everybody will be really upset about.
Okay, so exclusive, yes, I get that, but if you think that's getting a release date within the next 4 years, come on.
That's my blue sky part.
I was gonna say, I think in 2022 we might get a hint of a release date.
Sure, our first trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazon's Luna carves out a nice slice of the market, the sort of streaming video games market, but I think the thing that holds it back is the subscription plans / tiers remains a confusing sticking point for pretty much everybody. Because it's like, oh, well, here's the $15 a month one, and that gets you these ones, but for $5 more a month, you get the Ubisoft Uplay thing, and for $3 more over here, you get the Devolver thing, and I think that turns out to be just too confusing for people. Where it's like, oh, I can't do the $15 a month thing, and I don't get everything. I got to pay more for it. Never mind.
It's going to be like buying cable packages again.
100%.
Oh, I have ESPN 1, but I don't have ESPN 2.
Right.
Or MTV.
Yeah. Well, Formula 1's on ESPN 7, so you need the whole shebang to get the thing you really want.
I hate ESPN because of that.
Mm-hmm. I hate all major cable things because of that.
Yeah. Stadia makes a big change to draw in new players, but it's too late. I think they might get to the point where maybe late in 2021, they're like, all right, now it's Game Pass, essentially. But at that point, either Luna is doing well enough or Stadia is not doing well enough and people have just written it off, or xCloud is doing well enough by itself that it's just like, okay, well, we got this stuff over here. We don't need Stadia. Like, you guys are just kind of being copycats.
Mm-hmm.
Community predictions here. Monkey Senior says Amazon Luna actually does pretty well. I think we got high hopes for Luna in 2021. Binding of Isaac Repentance is as great as it looks. Gives trouble to Boston and Moon on whether or not it's big / different enough to allow under their Game of the Year list because it's DLC. The Nimp gives in, tries it out again, and loves it.
I own it on two different things. I have it on PC and PlayStation, Binding of Isaac, but...
Well, when the new one comes out, that's a perfect time to hop in. It will probably be good. And last one, this is another free space. Boston creates at least one new podcast series.
Yep.
Well, Monkey, you're signed up to be third chair. Optimus Servo says continued hardware shortages. It seems like a pretty safe one in the short term.
Yeah.
Astronomical digital sales numbers. That's an interesting one because I feel like that is probably pretty likely. And continuation of all digital game shows / expos in 2021. Yep. That'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how quickly people are like, all right, 21's here. We're gonna have all our normal shows. Hannah says Ensure games will be quiet due to the impact of COVID. I feel like Ensure is potentially an autocorrect mistake. But yeah, probably the industry overall will still be kind of hurting from the circumstances surrounding 2020.
Yeah.
Sega Dreamcast Mini announced and released. God, please, that'd be great. And
I don't get it. I was not a Dreamcast kid, so
It
okay.
was, you had to be there at the time.
It definitely feels like a time and place thing.
Yeah, otherwise it's sort of, it's a little weird. His last one is Gabe Newell knife smuggling scandal. That's all he wrote, and I dig it.
Well,
I like it.
he's currently in New Zealand, so
That's right. Who knows? He's got to get the knives over there somehow. T-Bomb Rock says 2 more streaming services will blend into Game Pass Ultimate. That's interesting that 2 more are going to be following EA Play. Someone will offer a VR headset that's completely wireless and smaller, closer to something like large ski goggles. Interesting. So sort of just covering the eyes and maybe not more of your head.
Yeah.
And Funimation will be included with PlayStation Plus.
yep.
That'd be nice. Get more people to watch anime.
Well, considering they just bought Crunchyroll,
Oh, that's right.
Did that officially go through, or?
I believe so.
I was like, last I heard, I know that they were pretty much closing it out, but I didn't know if it got
Yeah.
approved or not.
I believe so. Okay, before we get to the games we're looking forward to in 2021, we'll use that to wrap out the show here. Let's go over who won Most Correctest of the Year. This was a close race. So let's start at the bottom here. Tied for 8th place, Lucian DC and Musum, both at 2 points. Congratulations. A 2-way tie for 6th place at 3.5 points. Winemaker Joe and Optimus Servo. God, this gets so confusing. A 3-way tie for 3rd place. The Hannah, Maximus Prime, and Monkey Senior all get 4 points. Congratulations.
the Hannah was dethroned.
Yes.
My mission was successful.
2nd place is, where did it go? T-Bomb Rocks at 5 points. And slot number 1, the most correctest of 2020, Late Elf at 5.5 points. Just eked out that little half a point to get there.
Those half points are adding up.
Yeah, that's so congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to Late Elf for your victory. You are the most correctest of 2020.
Nice.
And that wraps out all of our predictions. So let's talk about the games we're looking forward to the most in 2021. Moon, let's start with you.
Oh, well, let's talk about Cyberpunk 2027, I guess.
Yes.
Hey, my wife, the game I'm looking forward to the most from next year's game is My Mom.
Okay. Yep.
I asked her for suggestions on what game's coming out next year, and that was her response.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Mass Effect Remastered,
Yeah.
The Medium,
Yep.
Deathloop, although I doubt I'll get to play that until the year after.
Right. Right.
Shockingly enough, it wasn't even on my radar. Everspace 2. Let's talk about that
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
Gotham Knights, if it comes out. I doubt this is a 2021 game.
Right. I already forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah.
And you also forgot about the Suicide Squad game too, didn't you?
Oh, I sure did. Yep.
Also, I like the fact that you just sounded like a cowboy.
Yeehaw.
Resident Evil Village,
Yes.
which hopefully comes out next year. It's going to be broken. It's going to immediately put itself in for the Alpha Protocol Award of the Year.
I like it.
Of course, I'm talking about Stalker 2.
Yep. Yep.
Because if that thing ain't broken, it ain't a Stalker game. That's the
No.
rules.
Yeah. It just has to be.
Skatebird, because
Yep.
I need to play that game. Axiom Verge 2, if it comes out next year.
Fingers
So-
crossed.
If it's still a one-man team, then fine. Put out whatever,
Yep.
dude. Take your time.
Yep.
And speaking of Alpha Protocol Awards, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, because that's another game that I played the first one this year, and now it's
Yep.
like, oh, now I'm hyped for the sequel.
Yeah. Yeah. Nimp, how about you?
All right. I have East 9, Maelstrom Nox,
Yep.
Disgaea 6, Defiance of Destiny,
Yeah.
which surprisingly is not coming to any of the PlayStations right now.
Nope.
It's just a Switch title.
Yep.
Edderleer Ryza 2, wait for it, Moon, Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy,
There it is.
Yep.
Everspace 2,
Yeah.
and I still kind of hope the gunship is just as broken in that one.
I hope it comes back.
Persona 5 Strikers newly announced.
Yep.
So that's awesome. Bravely Default 2, kind of.
Yeah. We'll see what it is, but it could be good.
Yeah. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster.
Yep.
And Shin Megami Tensei 5, if that actually does come out. And Tales of Arise.
Yes. Yep.
And that's it. It's going to be a JRPG heavy.
I forgot about Tales of Arise. I keep forgetting there's another Tales game coming out.
I think there's a second one, but I can't remember if that one's supposed to be a mobile too or not. I don't know. It's that whole thing with mobile again. Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows with them? All right, on my list, starting off with a showstopper, Skull and Bones. Got to keep the dream alive. It's coming out this year, right, guys?
You wish.
It will not be good. We already talked about Atelier Ryza 2. Outriders. This is People Can Fly's new Square Enix game where they're making like a non-live service first and third person Destiny thing. And I think it sounds really cool because I like that studio and I would like that to be good, but it seems like it has a lot going on.
Yeah.
Bravely Default 2, Guilty Gear Strive. That should be coming out sometime this year. Deathloop, Axiom Verge 2, Everspace 2, Horizon Forbidden West. I think that's coming out in 2021.
Apparently, it's second half of 2021, according to the promotional poster that was on an advertisement I watched today.
Okay, perfect. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, Neo: The World Ends With You, which I'm looking forward to a lot. Psychonauts 2, which would be great if it had a release date. SMT3 Remaster and SMT5. Hopefully both of those are coming out this year. And Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which... Same thing, which is just like, I don't know if I care about this. Whoops, I played the first one. Now I care about it a great deal. All right. That's our episode. That was very long. And that's, we like to give a ton of content here while we're off on vacation. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Thank you very much, everyone, last year and this year who sent in your predictions. I know it's a lot of work because we struggle with it ourselves, which is like, oh, right, we gotta, what's gonna happen? Greatly, go ahead.
Oh, I said,
Yeah. Greatly appreciate everybody helping out. Congratulations to Late Elf on being 2020's Most Correctest. And hope everybody is having a happy holiday season. And we'll see you next week for a regular episode. Bye.
Bye. Remember, keep Hannah losing. Keep him losing.